Hey, it's Marcus, and welcome to another episode of Between the Bellows. So recently, I started to notice something different about the signage outside of my favorite coffee shops and storefronts here in town. When I took a closer look, I realized that all of these signs were painted by hand, and I thought, this is super cool. But then it got me curious to find out who in 2023 is still hand painting signs as a profession. As it turns out, a lot of these signs around town were painted by the same woman. Her name is Leanna, and she started her own company called Honey Girl Signs. I got to visit Leanna in her backyard studio, where she shared her story with me, and I got to take her portrait. So let's meet Leanna.
Before sign painting, I was actually a scientist in biotech up in the Bay Area. I graduated with a chemistry degree from the University of San Diego. So I went straight from college to being in a lab for, I think, 16 years. What drew me to sign painting is that I had always taken art classes just in my spare time when I was doing biotech, but never thought I could do a profession in art, just because from what I was taught, being an artist is being a starving artist. Being Asian, you're not supposed to do anything creative with your life. So I went the route that I was supposed to go, but wasn't feeling fulfillment. Actually, my husband's coworker told him about sign painting, and that there's only one school left in the United States, and it's in LA, and they were doing it online. And that's when I was able to take the classes and then start to kind of fall in love with it and then take it from there. I was like, let me just see. And I kind of booked my first gig with a friend who owns a restaurant. It just felt very nerve-wracking in the way, because I had never given away artwork before or sold artwork before. But in another way, it was super fulfilling and super confidence building in that I got my first one out of the way. My favorite thing about sign painting, I think, is being outside, being my own boss, having something that I can show my kids. Like if I, make a drug in the lab, they don't care. But my kid came out here yesterday and he's like, "That's really cool, Mom." And I was like, "Oh, thanks, man." Having something that is mine is my favorite part of it. The most challenging thing, I think, for me personally is probably my imposter syndrome. I've only been doing it for 3 years, and I feel like I'm busy, but there's always someone else out there that's more busy. There's always someone else out there that knows more, has more miles. So I always question, am I good enough? Am I doing it right? I'm not new to working. I'm a professional in another area, but I'm still a professional. And so I kind of tell myself, you know how to do this, you know how to talk to clients, you know how to get the job. So it's just having faith that you'll figure it out. There's Amazon, there's Etsy, there's FedEx even, where you can get stuff printed, you can get it the next day, but it's very machine looking. I think hand-painted signs just have a lot more character. I think it comes from a long tradition of, before there was a graphic designer, there was a sign painter. Before there was a computer, there was a sign painter. And it's like, as long as we can keep kind of this analog art alive, I think it makes the world a prettier place, a more human place. I love it. It's so fulfilling to me, as far as like having an art job is something I never thought I'd have. Especially, my whole family is in the sciences. My sister's at Genentech and her husband just made VP. And it's just like coming from a long line of nice, good Filipino kids. I'm the one that strayed, and I feel like I gotta make it worth it. I feel like I gotta show that my choices and my decisions were the right ones. As long as it stays fun, then I'll keep doing it. Now I have like 3 jobs on my porch, and I'm kind of here with how much I can do, but it's still fun. It's what I do now, which is really nice to say.
So there's a lot of rich history and nostalgia around sign painting, so I thought it would be appropriate to use my Dagor 12-inch lens from the 1940s to take Leanna's portrait. The 12-inch focal length is a 305mm for large format, which is close to a 50mm on a full-frame camera. It's not as sharp as my modern Apo 300mm lens, but I think that's part of the charm. It has more character, and it's just cool to know that this lens was around during World War II. This lens has probably seen some things. Right to the camera, really confident. You look fantastic. In 3, 2, 1. So I just want to thank Leanna again for sharing her story with me today. I think hand-painted signs are super cool. Nowadays, when you see rows and rows of shops and businesses with plastic or neon signs, a nice hand-painted sign can really set yourself apart. And I really appreciate the attention to detail. If you want to learn more about Leanna's work, I'll leave a link in the description below. And if you like this channel and want to see more stories, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode of Between the Bellows. Thank you.